the most recent Flash Feud. This was feud number 1 on the weekend. We're going to go against another one of the content creators here on YouTube, Big Poppa Brian from Grim Creepers. And he's got a roster. A lot of 4-star silvers, a couple of 4-star bronze. We're going to start off against X-Pac, and X-Pac just does damage. That's what X-Pac does with this black, blue setup. So we need to get our damage in first. I'm going to try to use this choose purple move to get some blue or green cascades here to help reload that choose move for the next turn. Managed to get our blue loaded and get 65k damage, so that's a good start. But X-Pac's about to go off here with these perks that we had on the weekend. This is turn 1. That's one special move. Here's the second special move. That's going to kill blue, and if it doesn't cause a pin, which of course it doesn't, this is special move number 3. This is still turn 1. And now here comes special move number 4. Now is the AI going to be smart? Look, there's a row with 4 column gems in it. Nope. Just the 1. So that saves us a whole lot of damage. We're going to kick out. Now we've got 2 specials ready. I'll shuffle the board move first, hoping to get a green, but we don't. But our blue choose move is ready again. Again, trying to use this to get a green or a blue for the next turn, because the next turn is probably going to finish the match if this one doesn't. That's a nice cascade. Our green is full. That's another 85k. And he kicks out on 1. The help of his remaining column break gem, of course. So some more damage we took there. But this is going to finish the match. So we probably lost 60k of our health there with Tough in our first match against X-Pac. But going into a feud against a roster like Big Poppa Brian's, you're not going to get away unscathed with no HPs. You're going to take some hits. But that 42 combo will finish off X-Pac and get us a win. Good thing about going against a roster like Brian's is you're going to get a lot of points just from one brawl. There's 120 feud points. Match number 2. Let's just see who pops up here. Yeah. Nikolai. He's great to use. He's not super difficult to play against. We're going to use the Rock because we get a class advantage, 25% damage boost here against Nikolai. The blue match on turn 1 is what you need. That first one increases your yellow gem damage for a couple of turns. Now we get to choose a whole bunch of yellow. This is 7 yellows that's going to fill our finisher and do a whole ton of damage and recycle part of our charge for our blue move if we need them again. But with a showboat against a striker with a class advantage and with these perks, you're not going to need to go to the second go around. This finisher, look at the Rock's finisher, 60k damage plus a whole bunch of gems being destroyed. That's a 4x4, 16 gems. And that's pretty easy work of Nikolai Volkoff. Couple of loot crates, so we're going to get some health back. Another 101,000 feud points. Let's see who we got next. While we're going showboat against striker, let's do Dude Love while we've got the Rock loaded here. thing you've got going on here is we've got two guys who are going for the same colored gems, which is not always ideal. The good thing is whenever there's a black match on the board for a striker, the striker's going to take it. So he left us our blue. And we go through this process again. Choosing yellow, filling the finisher, trying to get a cascade. $75K damage on turn 2. He kicks out. But again, same as the last match. This is like an instant replay. Rock match. Our finisher's gonna end this match on turn 3. And turn 3 is pretty fast now in the world of 4-star. Going against 4-star silvers here, if you can be finishing matches on turn 3, that's pretty great. Another 103,000 feud points. And we're keeping pace with Kev up there. Kev's pretty fast. When you feud alongside Kev, you don't want to slow him down, so you got to keep pace. So that's what we're trying to do. I don't always have the best of luck doing that, because Kev is fast. We'll go back to Seth, even though we've only got about 40% of our health here, but he can make some pretty quick work of people. We're not too afraid of Zombie Seth here. With our perks. That was lovely. Reloads our blue move for the next turn. He just barely kicked out. We're going to avoid the board getting spammed with those countdown gems that Seth can sometimes ding you with, but in this feud setting, not too afraid. This is going to finish this match. Another quickie. Didn't take too much damage, so Seth is still in play for us moving forward in this feud. Nothing more frustrating in a feud than losing one of your guys early, one of your go-to guys. He's still alive. You can probably take a doink with Seth before we move on to something else. This is with Steel, Daniel Bryan, and with these feud perks made Seth turn 1, so it's kind of a no-brainer. With all the damage that he can do. There weren't a lot of blues and greens on the board that time, so we weren't able to get our move recycled like we like to. That's quite the cascade from Doink. We take another hit. But here's the reason why I like using this setup with Seth with this purple move here, is that right there. We didn't have our blue move or green move loaded, but because we have that shuffle move, it does a lot of damage and it can get you another crack, which it just did. It made a blue match for us. And we get to finish Doink off. 100,000 because of that shuffle the board move instead of a finisher, or instead of that blue move that I hate that some people use because it takes greens away. There's 114,000 more feud points. So we're 5 down, 3 to go. Let's roll the dice with Seth again here. Hopefully Matt doesn't tag us. with a wild card early and put a little red X over Seth. With the turn 1, hopefully we can get through one more here. We almost got our blue full. I think we're one short. But Matt doesn't have a green, which was the key. So our shuffle move, can we get something filled? Not this time, but we're not in danger. He's got no specials ready. So we just try to play some defense here, and we should be able to finish him on this next turn. And this is the Seth Rollins dream scenario here, when the green and blue are loaded at the same time. Use them in tandem here. You're just mapping the board here now. You're trying to make 3 matches with a gap in the middle. You're not trying to match any purples here. You're trying to leave little holes and make row breaks. So now we use the other choose, and now we fill those holes. And this just blows up the board. It does 6 figures in damage. And Matt Hardy's not kicking out of this. He's not going to have the chance to kick out of this. That was 62k, but that's all he had left. That was well over 100k, probably 150,000. Still 3 little boxes left, so Seth has done his work. He can probably take a rest for the rest of this brawl now. 114,000. I love facing showboats. And we're keeping pace with Kev. Thank you. Won't have to hear about that on Discord from Kev if I'm too slow. So, Razor Ramon. Now here was the tricky part about this feud. Because we brought Seth, there was only one trickster spot. Normally I would use Elias to steal health away from Razor here. But instead we're going to go to the class advantage with our hardest hitting striker. That's Bray Wyatt. And Big Poppa, I apologize. Against Razor with no health steal, I'm using that prop. Red Show of Heart, so that we can get some major damage in on Razor before he does his turn 1 submission on us. Didn't get as much of a black cascade there as we wanted. But that's a pretty good chunk of health taken away from Razor. We got half of his health gone on turn 1, thanks to that Red Show of Heart, and I'm not ashamed of that in the least. That's why we have them. That's why we bring them along. Now the Razor submission. 10 turns with this perk. This is setting up nicely. Hey, a couple of row breaks. We only sort of had to go through 3 turns of that Razor submission. We load our red moves again. He's going to throw his trap gems out on the board on the next turn. But we should have enough ammo now with those red moves loaded again to be able to get the job done. Of course he gets a wild card. Causes a pin. Cost us a couple more HPs before the next brawl. But this is going to finish the job on Razor. I'm not as anti-Bray Wyatt at 4 stars as a lot of people. He hits so hard. I know he's not a recycler, but when he hits this hard, sometimes you don't need to recycle. So 7 matches down, we got 1 match left. We're averaging well over 100,000 per opponent here against Big Poppa, and it's Roddy Piper. Let's check and see if he's running the Xavier Woods build. He is. So who do we pull out against purple? Our secret purple weapon. Not 5, Syxx. That blue move is a godsend against purple guys because it's a one charge. It goes on every turn and it steals 2 purple MP. That means unless they get a wild card, they can't do any purple specials against you. Eddie, sometimes with that board shuffle move, can get a purple match and hit you, but most guys aren't going to be able to get a purple move off against Syxx without a wild card. So now we're just slowly filling our purple until we get it to go off. We choose rows that have purple gems in them to recycle. He's got his purple full, but again, there's 2 MP gone, so it's not ready on the next turn. So he cannot use it. And we keep on with the row break and then destroy the row break gems scenario. Interesting to hear what you guys thought of this Flash Feud we had on the weekend with the 4 shorter mini feuds, different requirements, using a lot of different characters, some what I thought were really great rewards. Let me know in the comments what you thought of those feuds, because I don't have a whole lot of negative to say about them. It was a nice change, it was fun, it allowed you to take a rest. It was like a weekend full of some short sprints rather than the long marathon. So it really rewarded gameplay and strategy and use of your roster, and not just a reward for being able to stay awake for a day and a half or 2 days to keep feuding. Syxx deals with Roddy Piper, and we're done. Poppa Brian, 8 for 8. We did need some HP, but we got well over 800,000 feud points here for our faction, the Booty family. Thanks for watching.